Open invitation from the President to join hands to eliminate poverty by 2017.
මේ තියෙන ප්‍රශ්න ටික විසඳගෙන මට හොඳ රටක් හදන්න, සාමකාමී රටක් හදන්න, සංහිඳියාව ශක්තිමත් කළ රටක් හදන්න, හිමින් ගමනකට මට ඉඩ දෙන්න කියන එක මම ඊයේ බොහොම පැහැදිලි.
UN Secretary General comments on activities of the UN mission in Colombo.
During the critically important last several months, we made big mistakes.
SLFP says that former President Mahinda Rajapaksa can attend the anniversary celebrations if he wants to.
එනිසා තුමාට පුළුවන් නම් හෙටත් එන්න දවසේ ඉඳ තියෙනවා. ඒ නිසා විශ්වාස කරන පක්ෂයේ සංවත්සරය කියලා කියන්නේ අපි හැමෝටම පොදු.
Upul Tharanga recalled for final ODI against Australia, replacing injured skipper Angelo Matthews.
A very good evening to you. We are coming live on TV1 and Shakti TV. This is Primetime News. I'm Stephanie Lazarus.
I'm Satranga Puarachi. Let's take a look at the stories in detail now.
President Maithripala Sirisena met with the heads of media institutions this morning. Speaking at the event, the President addressed the current political environment in the country.
The head of state elaborated on the details of the discussion that took place between him and the Secretary General of the United Nations, Ban Ki-moon.
The discussions we held lasted over an hour. The Secretary General and I spoke alone for nearly 10 to 12 minutes. He completely understands the work that is being carried out by the current government. During both the official and private discussions with Ban Ki-moon, I explained to him the various measures I implemented during my 1.5 years in office as President on the subjects of democracy, freedom, human rights and fundamental rights. I also elaborated on the judiciary, the bribery commission that is curbing fraud and corruption, and the Human Rights Commission, and that these institutions have commenced a very successful journey, and I asked him to give me time to continue this journey slowly. I very clearly explained to him and requested that he gives me time to solve the issues that exist at present and to create a good country, a peaceful country, and to strengthen reconciliation. With a smile on his face, the Secretary General told me that there will not be any intervention and to continue the work that is being carried out in a calm manner. The Secretary General did not give us any deadlines or time limits to finish this work. He did not say that we need to implement any new rules or regulations or establish any new institutions. I'm speaking to you in this manner while the Secretary General is still in the country. That is why this is a very good news for us.
The President also expressed ideas on eliminating poverty in the country.
The Cabinet presented a document this week. We agreed that 2017 will be named the year where we eliminate poverty from Sri Lanka. As the government, we are prepared to launch a national initiative with the support of the state institutions, the private sector, non-governmental organizations, voluntary organizations and the general public in order to eliminate poverty in the country in 2017. If we launch a program under the theme, the Year of Elimination from Poverty, we will be able to receive tremendous assistance from the international community as well. We see certain media institutions visiting villages, towns and rural areas and highlighting issues such as the lack of roads, bridges, drinking water and housing. As media organizations, if you can highlight the issues that the country is facing at present and present the correct facts to the government, we can address them. We look forward to receiving your assistance in this matter. I witnessed several letters from a couple of organizations even this morning. Reconciliation conspiracy aimed at splitting the nation. It is saddening to see the definition that such people give to the term reconciliation. The future of this country depends on the friendship and coexistence of the Sinhala, Tamil and Muslim communities in the country. Strengthening reconciliation means creating a background where everyone can live without fear. Small children could come to believe that reconciliation means splitting the country or destroying the country. They may believe that it means bringing in the federal system. They may believe that this is a Western conspiracy. Don't degrade the meaning of the term reconciliation. We want to stress on the importance of this term.
පිළිබඳව තමයි අපි හැම වෙලෙම අවධානය යොමු කරන්න ඕනේ.
Journalists questioned the president on the party convention of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party.
විශේෂයෙන්ම දැන් 4 වෙනි
On the 4th, when the anniversary and convention is held, the people as well as the country will realize how strong the Sri Lanka Freedom Party is under my leadership. There is nothing serious to worry about this.
ඔය කියන කාරණා මේ හෙතරම් ලොකු බරපතල නැත්නම් මේ කොරහ ඇතුලේ කිඹුළු දකින්නේ නෑ මම.
ජනාධිපතිතුමනි ඔබතුමාගේ නිල
Mr. President, someone hacked your official website and changed its content. Among the hackers is a school student. The law is being enacted. As the president, what action will you be taking with regard to this student?
මේ පාසල් දරුවාට සම්බන්ධයෙන් ගන්න පියවර මොකක්ද?
බොහොම තරුණ දරුවෙක් හින්දා ඒ ගැන මමත්
Since he is a very young person, I also thought of handling this case in a certain manner. These officers have carried out investigations into this. This has been presented to the courts. Therefore, I will not hurry since we should not set a precedent for these sort of acts. However, I will act like a father in handling this matter.
මම ඉතින් දරුවෝ ඉන්න තාත්තා කෙනෙක් විදියට හිතනවා.
UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon took part in an event in Colombo today where he met a number of political figures.
A meeting between Speaker Kara Jayasuriya and the UN Secretary General took place this morning. Thereafter, Ban Ki-moon met with political party leaders. Minister Lakshman Kiriyalla, Deputy Speaker Thilanga Sumadipala, Minister Nimal Siripala de Silva, Minister Rauf Hakim and a number of other political figures met with the UN Secretary General today.
Sri Lanka's economic growth.
Sri Lanka has shed its brief period of what I would call self-imposed isolation, which no doubt was an aberration in our long democratic journey. We are now on a historic journey, Your Excellency, to build a Sri Lanka that safeguards, promotes and protects the rights and dignity of all and equality of all, respects and celebrates the multi-ethnic, multilingual, multi-religious nature of Sri Lankan society, empowers our youth and women, upholds the rule of law, respects democracy and fundamental freedoms including the freedom of the media, preserves our environment while taking steps to ensure integrated and equitable sustainable development, gives priority to securing the best education possible for our children and youth, including the skills they require to meet the demands of the global value chain, focuses on infrastructure development and economic growth required for the prosperity of all our people, and enhances and encourages understanding and preservation of culture, respect for each other's traditions and beliefs, and is always conscious of the need to be responsible and respected member of the international community.
President Sirisena pledged in his speech at the opening of the 70th session of the General Assembly last year that his government's social and human development approach was founded on pluralism, reconciliation, and sustainable peace, supported by sustaining peace. I congratulate the government and people of Sri Lanka on passing the 19th Constitutional Amendment and the recent Right to Information Act. I also urge you to speed up the return of land so that the remaining communities of displaced people can return home. And President Sirisena explained at length yesterday to me about his strong commitment of returning this land. In parallel, the size of the military force in the north and east could be reduced, helping to build trust and reduce tensions. It will take many years of political courage and determination. I assure you that the United Nations will be your partner on every step of this journey.
The UN Secretary General also spoke on the actions of the UN mission in Sri Lanka during the end of the conflict.
During the critically important last several months, we made big mistakes. We learned the very hard lessons on the part of the United Nations. I established internal investigations into what had happened, what our people of the United Nations mission here had been doing at the time. We found a serious mistake, inactivities. Had we been more actively engaged, we could have saved many more human lives.
Sustaining peace, in my opinion, is a must and must be a #1 priority. The new government took office with a commitment to securing long-term peace and reconciliation, premised on the principles of good governance, while strengthening democratic institutions and ending long years of impunity and inequality. The Secretariat for Coordinating Reconciliation Mechanisms, SCRM, was established to help take these priorities forward, and we are working in close partnership with civil society, including youth of this country, victims of the conflict, the private sector, the United Nations, other development partners, and of course, the many arms of government, both national, provincial, and local.
Staying on the same subject, the UN Secretary General also engaged in a tour of Jaffna today.
UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon met with the governor of the northern province, Reginald Kure, this evening. A group of relatives of missing persons held a demonstration opposite the governor's office where the meeting was held and handed a petition over to a representative of the UN Secretary General. Ban Ki-moon met with the opposition leader R. Sambandhan, Northern Province Chief Minister C.V. Vigneshwaran and other representatives of the Tamil National Alliance at the premises of the Jaffna Library. A demonstration was held there as well by relatives of missing persons and family members of those who have been arrested under the Prevention of Terrorism Act. After the meeting, the opposition leader attempted to meet with the demonstrators. However, there was a strong objection. Subsequently, the UN Secretary General met with the people who have been relocated in Telipale and Veeman Kaman areas.
Okay, we'll move. Same way we came, just straight. Hold it right and right.
UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon is scheduled to leave the island at 10:30 p.m. tonight. He chaired one final media briefing in Colombo this evening.
You said this morning, in a speech you made this morning, that the United Nations has made certain shortcomings in terms of Sri Lanka. So given this backdrop, Secretary General, how can you make an assurance to the Sri Lankan government and Sri Lankans that you can succeed in the future in terms of Sri Lanka?
United Nations and Sri Lankan government have been discussing and consulting on all other matters since a long time. There were mutual efforts, but all these aspirations and concerns and also mechanisms have not materialized until recently. In that regard, I commend President Sirisena. Since his inauguration, he has been taking bold actions. I count on the leadership of this country to fully cooperate and show their leadership. It may take longer time than one may expect, but that does not mean that you have to take as long as you want. The victims and families who have been affected, they cannot wait forever. The sooner you address this, the better.
I want to know, Secretary General, especially given the United Nations role during the Iraq War and what's happening in Israel and Palestine now, how do you address this issue, the cry that the UN has used a double standard when judging Sri Lanka?
I would not agree that there has been or there is a double standard on the part of the United Nations. We really wanted to see why it had happened to that level. What and how United Nations could have done better in Sri Lanka.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe delivered the inaugural address at the Indian Ocean Conference 2016 yesterday.
250 delegates representing 21 countries are participating in the conference, which is held at the Shangri-La Hotel in Singapore.
Economic power in the world is moving again to Asia, aside from which the global financial system is moving away from a single currency dominated international system towards the multi-currency international system. New sources of investment capital are reducing Western dominance. New consumer markets and the expansion of the Asian middle class are changing the traditional focus of markets. The wealth and technology gap between the West and the East has narrowed significantly by the sheer weight of numbers in Asia. So it is possible to argue that the Indian Ocean region has an extraordinary opportunity to create something new in the global context and something historically uniquely beneficial to its people. It is time for Indian Ocean countries, especially Asian nations, to take the lead in determining their own future. It is our belief that an Indian Ocean order needs to be crafted with accepted rules and agreements that would guide interaction between states. This order needs to be built on a consensual agreement, and no singular state should dominate the system. The Indian Ocean order would have the primary responsibility of upholding the freedom of navigation in the Indian Ocean.
A delegation including Premier Wickremesinghe represented Sri Lanka at the Indian Ocean Conference 2016. Indian Foreign Minister Sushma Swaraj addressed the gathering via Skype. Chairman of the Sri Lanka Mahambodhi Society, Venerable Banagala Upatisatero, attended the event as a special invitee.
The villagers of Gonahattanava in Kabitigolava suffered for years without a drop of clean drinking water. However, today, their dreams to receive clean drinking water came true when Newsfirst fulfilled the promise it made to the people of Gonahattanava.
The Gum at the 100 Days Initiative.
මේ සත්කාරයට දායක වුණු සිරස මාධ්‍ය ජාලයේ සියලුම මහතුරුන්ටත් නාවික හමුදාවේ මහතුරුන්ටත් ඒ වගේම සෙන්ට්‍රල් බ්‍රෙයාරින් සමාගමේ මහතුරුන්ටත් ඒ වගේම ඔබ සමග මෙවැනි කාර්යයන්ට දායක වන සියලුම සත්පුරුෂයන්ටත් මම මේ අවස්ථාවේදී දොහොත් මුදුන් තියලා ආචාර කරනවා ඔබ මේ කලේ සත්කාරයකට වැඩිය මහා පින්කමක්.
The villagers of Gonahattanava and Kabitigolava and a number of other surrounding villages who fight a never-ending battle in order to make ends meet thanked Newsfirst for making their dreams of receiving drinking water become a reality. This drinking water project was launched on the 15th of August. Central Bearings and Machinery Private Limited was the sole sponsor of this project, and the project was completed with the assistance of the Sri Lanka Navy. The project was vested with the public today. Members of the Capital Maharaja Organisation Limited and Newsfirst were present at the event. This is the 11th project that was successfully completed and vested with the public under the Gum at the 100-Day Initiative. The Gum at the Savya organisation was also established in the village of Gonahattanava today.
On to your developing story now. Today marks 65 years since the establishment of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party. Members of the joint opposition celebrated the anniversary today.
ඔගේ දින 10 පුරාවට අපේ ආසන බලමණ්ඩල කැඳවලා
Over the past 10 days, we convened the Balamandala meetings. We inquired into their thoughts. A unanimous decision was reached during these meetings that we should not attend the anniversary celebrations based on 3 main points. Number 1, to oppose the SLFP becoming a crutch of the UNP. Number 2, to oppose the character assassination and the coordinated activities carried out by some of our own against the 5th leader of the party, Mahinda Rajapaksa. This is our honest attempt to get our beloved party back on the right track.
As the Sri Lanka Freedom Party convention is set to take place on Sunday, the UPFA General Secretary inspected the Maliga Pitya grounds in Kurunegala today.
Adding a new face to left-wing politics, the Sri Lanka Freedom Party was created on the 2nd of September 1952 under the patronage of S.W. Auti Bandaranaike, bringing together 5 key forces in the country. On Sunday, the Sri Lanka Freedom Party will celebrate its 65th anniversary. This was the manner in which Kurunegala, the town which will host the anniversary celebrations, as well as other towns around the country, were decorated ahead of the SLFP anniversary. UPFA General Secretary Mahinda Amaravira toured the Maliga Pitya area today. We are ready to conduct the celebrations in a successful manner and in a way where we could set an example. We have received reports that there is a large number of people who are waiting to attend this event. The main concern we have is regarding the accommodation. We have taken maximum use of this ground. We have arranged 3 halls with 25,000 seats. We have also arranged the ground on the other side for our party members. I think this will be a historic as well as a significant anniversary celebration. We have prepared all the decorations. On the 4th, we will bring together everyone and set off a new journey. Minister Duminda Desanayake, the General Secretary of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, also engaged in an inspection tour of the Maliga Pitya grounds in Kurunegala. We invited Mahinda Rajapaksa, but what we can understand through the media is that he will not attend. Dallas Alha Peruma says that Mahinda Rajapaksa will be making a statement to ICAP. That event is over. It is not a special event. He has the opportunity to come even tomorrow. Therefore, we believe that everyone will attend the party anniversary celebrations because it is a common event for all. This will be the largest convention ever organized by a political party in the history of the country. Over 1,000 persons will attend from our electorates. We are missing one provincial councillor from the central province, and he too phoned me last night and informed me that he will attend. All provincial councillors from the central province are with us. This journey is for the protection of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party. President Maithripala Sirisena is the chairman of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party. We are pleased that even if this government lasts for 10 years, it is not a person from the UNP who is president. This must be understood. Under the Bandaranaike policy, ordinary people were to be involved in politics, but we did not see that in the recent past. Since President Maithripala Sirisena is taking the Bandaranaike policies forward, an ordinary person like me was appointed as organizer of the party for such a large electorate. Understand this. Do not fall in trouble seeking temporary pleasures. Join with us for the party anniversary celebrations. Make the convention the beginning to create our government by 2020.
Today marks day 2 of the Colombo Defence Seminar 2016 sessions, which took place at the BMICH.
On the second and concluding day of the Colombo Defence Seminar, which was held under the theme Soft Power and its Influence on Global Issues, attention was drawn to means of achieving foreign policy goals without using coercion in global affairs. The Colombo Defence Seminar serves as an audience for providing intellectual connectivity amongst those who seek strategic, sub-regional, regional and global partnerships by convening prominent national and international scholars, think tanks and diplomats around this particular theme.
It's win-win through cooperation. Win-win by cooperation. China, Japan, Korea, India, Australia, Asian countries, including Sri Lanka. We enjoy a stable, peaceful environment. We do enjoy the cooperation and friendship among the peoples.
On a more lighter note, Stephanie, how would you like to witness or even be a part of an international Miss World or a Miss Intercontinental pageant?
That's something that's far off, I think, Chaturanga. But there's a very interesting story today where we are celebrating glamour and beauty because Sri Lanka is set to host a Miss Intercontinental pageant on the 16th of October 2016.
This is the first time that a reputed global pageant is being held in Sri Lanka, and the first time in 20 years that a major pageant will be held in South Asia. As this year marks the 45th anniversary of this Miss Intercontinental pageant, the pageant is themed The Fairy Tale. Over 70 national beauty organizations associated with the pageant worldwide and over 60 countries will be in Sri Lanka for this year's pageant. The crown, named Oriental Holy Water, is worth over $360,000. Valentina Razilova from Russia was crowned Miss Intercontinental 2015. A media briefing was held in Colombo yesterday to create awareness on this international pageant.
The last 3 years, the city of Magdeburg in Germany was the host of Miss Intercontinental. The more I'm happy that we have the chance now for the first time to go to Sri Lanka, and especially, of course, to Colombo. Everything started with, let's say, a short conversation that we should do something for the tourism, for the promotion of Sri Lanka, because Sri Lanka has developed so much. And if I recall, for example, why are we here, or what is the special in Sri Lanka? Well, you know better than I, very unique. So the Miss Intercontinental is very glad to have the opportunity to do this for the very first time in Sri Lanka.
To host this glamorous event in Sri Lanka, the resplendent Stein Studios in Rothmlana has been chosen as the preferred venue. The director of Stein Studios, Lakshmi Singer, caught up with us earlier this evening.
Stein Studio is one of the largest studio in South Asia with world-class studio facilities, and also we had the privilege of having so many international concerts such as studio coverage for T20 World Cup, ABU Song Festival, Women's Boxing Championship, Shanin Concert and Richard Marx are the international concerts which Stein had. Additionally, Stein Studio provided the facilities for filming of solar eclipse, which is about assassination of Mahatma Gandhi. Everything is set and ready to for the next biggest international event, which is to be the glamorous Miss Intercontinental 2016 with the participation of over 70 countries.
The Miss Intercontinental pageant 2016 will be held in Sri Lanka, Colombo, from 2nd to 16 October 2016. Thank you for everybody.
Taking a look at some sports news before we go. Pul Taranga has been recalled by Sri Lanka, with captain Angelo Matthews out for the remainder of the series against Australia due to a calf injury.
Sanath Jayasuriya took part in the Pathikoda program on Sirasa TV this morning. I accept that we have an issue with the openers. When playing in Sri Lanka, we look at the conditions. He seems to be the better option in opening the game under Lankan conditions. However, if we pull out an experienced middle order player, then we can recall Upul Taranga. Angelo Matthews suffered an injury, and therefore he will be replaced by Upul Taranga. When you look at the future of Sri Lanka cricket, long-term and short-term decisions will have to be made. Upul Taranga comes under a short-term decision. That is why opportunities were given to players like Danushka Gunatilaka, Avishka Fernando and Kusal Janit Pereira, aiming at the next World Cup.
Well, that's a wrap for Primetime News. I'm Stephanie Lazarus.
I'm Saturanga Hapuarachi. Take care and good night.